Today it's all about van life. What I have here is a brand new 2020 Summit Adventure van Antero, and it's built on a Ford Transit chassis. And I want to show you all the way around and inside this Weekender RV because it's first of its kind and it has some unique and cool features. You're starting with a brand new transit van, cargo van, right?
Yep.
So what makes the Adventure van special?
Well, the Summit Adventure van gives people the ability to have a van that will get them out in the outdoors, give them the ability to explore, either take it hiking, camping, fishing, all the activities they want to do outdoors. It also doubles as a cargo van, so it can be used as a daily driver, and it can also be used for just seeking out your adventures.
One of my favorite things is actually the track system in here. If you undo the rubber molding, you can put cleats in here, or maybe mount some other accessories, your cooler, your cargo.
The manufacturer for this is typically found in the mobility space, so for the ADA and abilities abled vehicles. So we decided to use this particular manufacturer so that we would be able to have seats in here that are FMVSS compliant. So people that are putting their kids in the back will know that they're safe in case the event something happens.
These seats are removable, right?
Correct. So to get the seats out of here, there's a real quick latching system that allows the seat to be able to take it out.
Hey, look at this. I can just go fishing like this, right?
Yes, you could take your extra seats and sit outside with them for sure. Potentially something that we're going to explore is creating some sort of platform that would be able to sit outside. So you could take your seats and use them as a patio.
I have access to this van thanks to our friends at transwest.com, and this 2020 RV is already available. So use the link below and check it out and ask for it if you want. This is meant for like an extended camping weekend, is that fair?
Essentially, it gives you the ability to carry enough food and water to get you through probably 2 or 3 days without needing to head to the store.
Is this an induction top here?
It is an induction top, so you got to make sure you carry the right pots and pans when you go camping.
Most new motorhomes are going this way.
Correct. Getting away from open flames, that way there's less possibility that somebody has an accident, and an unfortunate one. We changed the sink to have a little bit more counter space. We put in the Dometic sink with a little bit larger basin and made the counter a little bit bigger, so that way you have a little bit more area to prepare food. Up in the top, a larger than our previous version, we have a larger storage area, so you can fit like a full size box of cereal and chips and other things up there. And then your 700 watt microwave.
And when you say previous version, you mean, you also do Sprinter conversions, right?
Correct.
Or Sprinter RV.
Correct.
Chassis. But this is the first Transit Summit van, right?
Yep, this is the first Transit Summit van.
In the back, you have barn doors, and you can either open them about 90 degrees, or you could also click the latch and open it all the way to the side. This is a high roof version, so it's really good for me. I'm just over 6'2", and I can stretch out and stand tall. I can touch both sides of the van, but what I'm most curious about is the bed. So let me unfold it and see if I can fit. There's nothing to kind of put my foot on. All right, so here's my biggest curiosity here. Can I fit? Oh yeah, the cutouts in the sides help a lot. Look at this. All right, I'll see you later, guys. Bye. I need some rest. Good rest. And boom. You could also leave it like this while moving and store some stuff underneath it. And it's not powered, so you don't have to worry about a lowering mechanism or folding mechanism. You can do it yourself.
One of the design changes for the Transit was incorporating thermoformed walls to help trim everything out, and it keeps the insulation hidden, makes it gives it a nice fit and finish. The tank monitor will actually give you your battery readings and show you your fresh and your gray water levels. Since there's not any water in there right now, it says it's open.
And so there's no propane on board here, right?
There's not any propane. In the galley, we also included, for your passengers in the back or for while you're lounging around in the van, you can charge your phones through the USB, or you also have a 12 volt. Under the kitchen sink, you have your fresh water. And we kept it inside of the van so that it didn't require any external heating. The light fixtures that we actually chose to go with in these vehicles are just LED. They can be turned off and on individually, and they can also be dimmed.
Let's look under the hood. This transit van is powered by a 3.5 liter EcoBoost V6, and it's basically the most powerful option in a Ford Transit van. And this is a 250 chassis, which means it has a gross vehicle weight of 9,000 pounds, but it also has a lot of power, about 310 horsepower and 400 pound-feet of torque. So it actually has good performance on the street. Well, let me show you. Boom, that's about 50 miles an hour already. So it's good power for this package. And this van, fully equipped, weighs closer to 7,000 pounds, maybe just under 7,000 pounds. But this engine pushes it along quite nicely. And here I am turning around, kind of a two-lane street. The shorter wheelbase is very helpful. Good visibility to both sides, all the way around. I feel like I have good awareness of what's going on around me. Another neat feature of the Transit van is, well, first of all, your shifter is here. There's a tow haul mode, and also a brake controller already included. So if you're towing a little trailer, maybe some ATVs, a motorcycle or something, and you're towing more than 3,000 pounds, boom, you have brake capability right here.
In the front, you have an overhead shelf, basically to give you extra storage, putting things like portable tables, or maybe if you put in some window shades or something like that, it gives you an area to put them. You can also upgrade this to add a curtain to it for privacy. We also installed up front an easy to access battery merge switch. So basically, if the chassis battery or the house battery for the RV portion of it, either section dies, you can merge the batteries together to make sure that you don't get stranded out in the middle of nowhere. So for your power inverter, we have a 2,000 watt power inverter. This is basically the controller, and it gives you a readout of all your voltages. If somewhere down the road you wanted to upgrade to adding solar panels either on the roof or the side of the van, we've already pre-installed the connections to be able to do so. So you can also use that to make sure that your batteries are charging. Customers would be able to go ahead and purchase, like from a company called Zamp, solar panels they can put on the outside of the van. Sure. So while they're drinking coffee in the morning, they can put the solar panels out, or while they're out exploring, boom, they plug them in and it recharges the batteries, keeps the batteries maintained for the day. This van is also equipped with a Webasto fuel-fired heater. In this particular model, since it is an unleaded fuel, this unit runs on the unleaded fuel that comes out of the factory fuel tank.
Okay.
It'll warm the van in an average cold about 20 hours on less than a gallon of fuel. It basically works like your home thermostat, and you would just turn it up to your desired temperature and it'll come on and off all by itself. Nice part about that is in real cold environments, since the freshwater tank is on the inside, if you're going out exploring for the day, if you're snowboarding, you can just set the ambient temperature in here in the 40s or 50s, and it'll keep your water above freezing temperature.
And there's no generator on board per se, right?
There's not.
So you're using kind of the battery system and the inverter to kind of power whatever is needed.
Correct. There is a 30 amp shore plug on the outside, so if you were to upgrade to having an AC unit, you'd be able to plug in a shore power and run the air conditioning, but it also can be used to recharge the battery. So when you get home from being on a 2-day trip, you just recharge the batteries by plugging the vehicle in.
All adventure vans come with this fan in the ceiling. It's power opening and closing. It's rain sensing, so it can close automatically, and it's bi-directional. You can run it either way, out or in. And you can also get an optional air conditioning system on top.
On the back, we have a Prime Design ladder rack This one is powder coated black. The future versions will actually be black anodized. It'll be a lot more rugged and avoid scratching. And that gives you access to the rooftop rack from Rhino Rack. On the front of the Rhino Rack, we have a light bar from Vision X and an air deflector to help reduce wind noise while you're driving down the highway.
And you have a step down here in the hitch.
Yep, with any of the ladders, and one of the things on RVs, that first step is always a doozy. So we made a standard to do at least a bumper step, something that plugs into the hitch, so you can still take that out, plug a trailer into it. The vehicle, as is, has got a towing capacity of a little over 3,000 pounds and about a 900-pound payload capacity.
But you can, a customer can select like a 350 or 3500 type van also, or how does that work?
Currently, we're only building on the 250.
Okay.
Future possibility, yeah, to be able to do a 350.
So it says here, maximum ladder weight 250 pounds. I'm just under that, so let me try that. Nice, easy access to the roof rack. There's also track system here, so you can tie things down up here as well. If you have a couple of kayaks or something extra, you could put them up there, but there is still a weight limit. You have an adapter for your shore power if you're in the campsite with electricity. You also have tie down locations and the track system here in the wall. And back here, you also have a little water hose. So if you're bringing a mountain bike or something like this, where you can secure it here to the floor, you could also wash it off using the built-in system here. And there's about 15 gallons of fresh water. Ooh, there it is.
These are the awning controls. They are a legless version. That's the Freedom line from Carefree. So it's a real easy one-touch extend. It'll come out automatically. The awning has wind sensors in it, so if the wind kicks up too high, it'll automatically go in by itself.
And you're not messing around with legs, right?
Correct. This one's a freestanding unit, so you're not tripping over posts and you don't have your dog wrapping its leash around it and breaking your legs on it. The awning actually has lights on the front of it on the patio area, so when you're sitting outside having some libations with your friends or just hanging out, you can actually have some light to be able to see each other. So being that the vehicle is RVIA certified, it allows people to be able to run down to a dealer, an RV dealer, and purchase this. Currently they're available through Transwest, but with that they can get extended terms. They can basically finance it like a mortgage. So you can get 10, 12, 15-year terms on it.
And register and insure it like an RV.
Yep, and you can get into a lot of the RV parks that you wouldn't be able to get into with some of your average builders out there.
This Ford Transit-based RV is currently available only in this configuration. A little bit shorter wheelbase, it's a high roof, and a 250 weight class. And I think that's a good thing because it makes it a little bit more maneuverable, and you could park it basically in your neighborhood, which is pretty handy. And you can also tow about 3,000 pounds. So this is not an ultimate towing machine, but it will get you out into the wilderness. So pretty much everything we see here is standard, right?
Yep, absolutely.
So what's the total pricing? What does it start?
The van as it sits starts at $135,225 with options to be able to add the FMVSS seats and overhead air conditioning.
Okay, so how does it compare? Is there any competition to this? What would you compare this against?
I would say probably the closest competition would be the Winnebago Revel, although our design doesn't have the bathroom, but it's a lot more affordable of a version.
So why not having the bathroom?
In a weekender type design, not having to deal with black water and finding dump stations and some of the typical things you'd have to do on a bathroom, and really on a lot of those vehicles, people don't, in the weekender type environment, they don't go and use the bathroom facilities. They find a campground, or they use facility outside, or carry a cassette toilet with them. This is not the most affordable van of its kind. Yes, you can find Mercedes and Ford chassis, or maybe even Ram ProMaster chassis similar to this for a little bit less money. But with full RV certification, this Ford Transit right here is more affordable than an equally equipped Sprinter. And some people like Mercedes vans, some people don't. Some people like Ford.
if you're one of those guys or gals, it's a really good option. If you were to get a Winnebago Revel Sprinter Mercedes chassis done in a similar fashion like this, with all the equipment for a four-wheel drive Mercedes, you'll be looking at around $170,000. So for $35,000 less in a two-wheel drive model, you have this option. When choosing a van like this, you have to make a choice. Do you want something with extra ride height to get you to a very remote spot or not? And this Transit chassis right here is more of a low riding, a little bit more comfortable on the highway, a little bit more manageable. So it's more of a kind of a long distance cruiser, maybe a dirt road cruiser. This is not going to climb a lot of rocks. If you wanted to do that, you may have to do a suspension lift and something like this, and it's not part of this package. Or you could get a Sprinter chassis, the Summit Adventure van of that, which is taller. So you have to make a decision which one you like best. So this chassis is a 2019, but what happens when the 2020s come out, which should be very soon, right?
Yep. So the 2020, one of the big features that everybody is really excited about is the all-wheel drive. Mm-hmm. The all-wheel drive Transit is actually designed to sit at the same ride height as the two-wheel drive, which for a lot of the clientele out there that have bad joints, hips, knees, where it's a little bit harder to get into the taller vehicles, but still want the ability to have an all-wheel drive vehicle, it's going to be a pretty exciting product. Currently, we only build on the 3.5 EcoBoost. That way, the van has good performance and can handle a good towing and payload capacity.
Yeah, the other exciting part about the 2020 Transit is the diesel engine, right? So I don't know. Are you considering that as well?
Potentially. We haven't necessarily spec'd it out yet. We started with the 3.5 EcoBoost to be able to offer an unleaded and a diesel option from the Sprinter. At
$135,000, this is not the most affordable van of this type, but the good things are it has some unique features. It's great for a weekend trip, and also it's certified as a motorhome and RV, so you have all the benefits that go along with that. Also, it's a Ford, so if you have an issue with maintenance, you could go to any Ford dealership. And as soon as we get an all-wheel drive version of this van, I'm gonna take it up in the mountains. And go back to TFLtruck.com for more news, views, and real-world van reviews.